If you run a company or manage a team, hiring qualified people quickly can make or break your business. Imagine a position of need going unfilled for weeks or even months because you just can't seem to find the right candidate. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed sponsored jobs help you stand out and hire fast. With sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates so you can reach the people you want faster. This makes a huge difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Plus, there's no monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts. You only pay for results on your job post. Just in the last minute that I've been talking to you, 23 hires were made on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Now that is fast. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. Listeners will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/BWN. Go to Indeed.com/BWN right now to support this podcast. Indeed.com/BWN. Terms and conditions apply.
Man, the Bulls got the deficit under 40, and then the Pistons just hit back-to-back threes. It's back to a 45-point deficit,
Yes.
which is how it's been like the whole game.
Yes.
Well, we do have some fun stuff tonight, so okay, go on. Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos CBB podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of February 11th, 2025. It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday.
That's my line.
Ha ha ha. Pitt Girl, how are you?
It's I have nothing to say because you
Stole our line.
Beth, how are you?
It's snowing. Happy snowing.
Are you guys in the middle of the big central
Let me check if it's snowing here.
clusterfuck of snow?
I'm not.
It is not particularly clusterfuckety where I am. This is just like normal, whatever. It's snowing.
I am the hat on top of where it is clusterfucky. It is snowy here, but it is not clusterfucky. And as of today, I will say that I have about 6/8 of the driveway chiseled back out of the sludgy, kludgy mire that was that ice storm, which is
Hooray!
good. I came to the realization after we recorded last time that the temperatures are going down to single digits next week. There's really no relief for this. And we're going to have like a little bit where it goes up into the 40s for like a couple of hours. That's not enough to melt almost 2 inches of ice. So I've been out there with the ice scraper now for a couple of days, just ruining my hands.
So this driveway has a slope, right?
My driveway, yes.
Yeah. So would it be possible to just put a bunch of salt at the top of the driveway and have it melt down?
I wish, because the thing is like it goes out onto a municipal road, and so a lot of salt does get dumped up there. But no, alas, the top of it is not but plow crap. So yeah, I wish it's just been the long, slow slide to hell.
Plow crap is the bane of my existence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Plow crap is the worst. I park on the street and then I get to like dig my car out of the plow crap.
I will say to our friends in DC and Nova and Maryland, just stay indoors for a bit.
Yeah, you guys are not built for this.
No.
Like, just don't. And this is not me passing judgment upon
No.
ye old Northern Virginians. Like, I understand that you living in Loudoun County, that Loudoun County owns probably one salt truck. Like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't go outside.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is a fun time to be outside.
On the Beltway?
Not in a car. I'm talking about like outside.
Oh,
like
yes,
on
definitely.
like skis or like snowboarding, snowshoes.
Do go sledding. Don't go driving.
Yeah.
Lest driving becomes sledding.
Grish, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Watching a lot of basketball these days and editing my dissertation. So that's
Hell yeah.
that's basically my life right now. So I have a lot of thoughts on college basketball because that's been my only other thing that I'm doing. But yeah, everything's good.
Commish, how are you, sir?
Good. Just, cleaning up some Instagram comments from a post that we just made.
Ooh.
So,
Did we? What do we do?
Let me check that.
just giving a shout out to Portland State for their Pride Night.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
cleaning up a little bit there. But gotta
Hey,
post it.
if this is a problem for you, there are other places to follow. I'm just going to say it that way. Use your marketplace of ideas and go someplace else.
Perhaps we are not your favorite place of ice cream. And you could, I don't know, fuck off elsewhere.
I'm going to argue that most people that listen to us understand this because we're much less, we are much less
Filtered.
on the podcast because when this becomes exhibit A through whatever in our trials eventually, we'll know. But yes,
We're going to go to the good jail with the
Can I just say one thing? The only comment on the post on Blue Sky is by someone whose username is Father John Chungus, and they just wrote based.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is the vibe that we want at the function.
That's what we're looking for.
So I have, because
I've had to clean up a few and delete a few. So
thank you so much.
Thank
We're
you
good.
for wading into the sewer.
yeah,
I'm gonna delete this one too. Somebody says nothing could represent the city of Portland better, and they put like the dead face, and I was like, I feel like that's mocking, so that's gonna go too. Bye.
Yeah,
so one thing I will say before we get
Boom.
off this particular topic is that I have spent more time on Instagram recently than I used to because of the TikTok thing. And you know how the vibe in the comments is different on different websites?
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly different. Yes.
I don't know what it is about Instagram, but somehow the comments are even dumber than the comments on Facebook. And I don't know how that's possible.
It feels more like local news comments a lot of the time.
like that
on
old
Instagram.
Penn Live account.
Yeah.
Remember the Penn Live account? That was incredible. Does it still exist?
Yeah, I feel
think
like
so.
they would have to. Why
have
would
to
they
go
delete
look
it?
now.
Surely it wasn't having problematic stuff happen in the comments. No, I think it's the combination of being a meta platform and then also being like a visual platform.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that's just two different kinds of crazy that are mixing, and
It's-
really you don't need either.
It's true.
I
It
mean-
is a meta platform that requires even less reading comprehension.
Yeah,
skills
nobody
than Facebook.
reads anything on Instagram.
No.
It's like they're just like they see like when Jordan does the state outline posts, and it's just like hey, you posted Maryland today, and then somebody's like, "Where's the mule?" And I'm like, "There's no mule with Navy."
That was so smart. Someone said you didn't use the mule. You didn't use the mule for Navy. So
That's-
if I keep a fucking
that's
mule
Army.
for Navy, I'm not going to be able to sleep without a squid attacking me.
And then there's the comments that just yell states, Ohio, like
That's just normal.
Wisconsin, and it's
I
just
want
like
to hop in there and be like, nope, it's Maryland. Nope, good
Yeah.
guess, but good try,
I-
buddy.
I've been
Open
fighting.
the schools. We need to learn state outlines, kids.
I've been fighty in those comments. They're just
Like,
like,
boy, the state
do
version of
this.
Who's That Pokemon is a struggle, isn't it, kiddos?
It's Clefairy.
Hold
do
up.
this
Hey,
state
Beth.
next.
Hey, Beth. Hey, Beth. In the idea thread, who's that Pokemon state outlines, please?
Okay.
that's great.
I'll enjoy the hell
I'm
out
gonna
of this.
Do this state next.
It's
give.
Pikachu!
Ohio.
Ah,
I'm gonna
Wow.
give Beth the choice of our first topic. Here are your two choices, Beth. Do you want to talk about Australian punter drama
Ooh, spicy.
and possibly a scandal, or
I do declare.
they let a computer coach a Norwegian soccer team?
AI soccer team.
We'll get to both. Just which one do you want to start with?
I feel like let's start with the punter, and that'll be a nice warm up to make sure that all of our chords are ready to go when it comes time to just dunk as hard as we possibly can on AI, which is where I hope this is headed.
Now, Beth,
Mm-hmm.
this isn't just a punter.
Oh,
This is from Fox San Antonio, Commish. This was happening in your backyard, this investigation.
And we
I
did,
know.
man.
I know.
Okay.
Someone by the name of Yami
tapped-
Virgin
They tapped the
for
committee.
Fox
for
SA.
information. They tapped the committee for information about punting.
It was a 7-month investigation into
Whoa.
troubling allegations
That's
of
a lot of punt.
doctored documents and ineligible players taking football scholarships from Americans. An Australian player suggests there might also be immigration fraud being committed.
You mean to tell me that the immigrants actually are taking someone's job?
The end of this article basically turns into, yes, the immigrants are taking our jobs. And it's actually Australians who either one had already gone to some college and then just apparently going to college in other places sets off your NCAA timing, which I did not know.
You've used up your eligibility by being ineligible.
Yes. And so this
That is
happened.
so fucking NCAA. Go on.
And also, there is an issue of transcripts.
Ooh.
Because as educators, we know that getting transcripts from across the states
Oh,
make them make sense is a pain in the ass. This is why every high school, when you send in your transcript, there's also that sheet of like, here's what our grades mean, since
Yeah.
every school is different. Like, for example, I could get a 108 in AP Calculus out of a 100-point system because of the extra points I would get for whatever.
Yeah, there are some high schools that refuse to do extra points. I can tell you that the average graduation at my alma mater, not when I was there, but now, if you are in the top 10% of the graduating class, you have something like a 4.21.
Yeah.
Like it out of
Oh,
a
yeah.
4-point scale. Like it's bonkers and stupid. It's in numbers don't mean anything.
Oh, when I graduated high school, which was after almost everybody else on this podcast, you got at my high school, you got extra weight for AP classes, and like pretty much everybody I knew graduated with well above a 4.0.
Yeah, I finished with like a 106 point something. Yes, right. We have a 100-point scale.
It's always funny to me when I see like some news article about like someone citing how good their high school grades are, and they're like, and I didn't get into any good schools or something like that. Like just knowing how little that like the grades actually mean.
Mhm.
I mean, you and everyone else, buddy. Like, congratulations, that happens.
Yeah.
And I say that as someone who like scraped into an Ivy League. Like, I understand what that sounds like coming from me, but like, it's not just that, because I know plenty of folks that you get into Yale, you don't get into Princeton, you get into Harvard, you don't get into Stanford for reasons.
So whenever they're talking about transcript fraud, what exactly is fraudulent in terms of, is it not submitting the transcript? Is it unclear transcripts that people couldn't properly evaluate?
It was
Full disclosure here, I sat on an admissions committee at an Ivy League school for a while.
This was
Were
fake
they upside
transcripts.
down? Were they upside down since it was from Australia?
they forgot to rotate the PDF.
It's a little known fact that Australian transcripts do flush backwards.
That's true.
They had a problem with the transcripts because a bunch of words had unnecessary use.
How
in them.
many people in this world know the Coriolis effect from Bart versus Australia?
A ton.
It's a non-zero number. I'd imagine
Yeah.
it's a big one.
There's a lot of stuff that basically I've learned it from The Simpsons. It's
Oh yeah, especially those first like 10 seasons. Oh yeah. So this is, of course, all coming from Pro Kick Australia, a company that will get you into the US to be a college kicker. And they were seeing these people who they knew, that these coaches had talked to, who knew only had a year or two left of eligibility theoretically, or transcripts that had bad grades. And Pro Kick was advertising them as 4 years clear.
Yes.
Used punter salesmen.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Lightly
I
used.
like. It's always felt like a scam, and I'm so pleased to learn that it is one. Go on.
This is a legitimate scam, and I'm saying allegedly in front of a lot of this.
You better say allegedly and all
Everyone starts pointing fingers as to whose fault is this. Is it NCAA's fault for not cracking down? Is it the school's fault for not actually looking at the transcripts more carefully? Is it Pro Kick for obviously finding a loophole here because everyone else is so busy checking grades? This is one of those where it wouldn't surprise me if this feels like one of those things like an HBCU school would get tagged for, because they just don't have the compliance folks. We've talked about a bunch. They get tagged for compliance because they don't have people in charge of compliance because they don't have the money to have those bodies.
Yeah, I will tell you. I will tell you that foreign, any type of non-US transcript.
Oh, just
is very
book.
Well, and not just like, I mean, there are also like I've seen plenty of Australian transcripts. In the States, the ways that your colleges tend to intersect makes it more likely that we would find that you were missing a transcript from somewhere. Like if you look at my IUP transcript, it references, hey, this person went to Teal. There are things on here from Teal. So if I'm an admissions committee, and I've sent this email so many times, like, hey, I saw in your transcript that you also went to this institution. I need that transcript too. Mm-hmm. That's way less common in foreign transcripts. It's just not the way that that education works in every single country. So it's very possible that even if your admissions committee is well staffed and doing a super good job, there's simply no way that they could know that you went to this place.
I will say that Mike McCabe, who is a special teams trainer, he said the punting market in the U.S. has dropped by over 54%.
Commish, have we measured a downturn?
I am just gonna say this. This reminds me of the steroid era of baseball. It is now going to be the Australian punter era of college football.
I know.
Oh, we're like the amphetamines of sports. I love it.
If this were like
this is real, if this
this were skill positions, this would have been all over the place. But Fox 29, Puro San Antonio, as they call themselves, that came out and dropped, and this was days ago. I got this from Matt Brown. This released on the 9th, so 2 days ago. And here's the other thing.
On Super Bowl Sunday, that got buried, I think.
Matt,
we missed that one.
So so does Australia have the juice to get this story buried like that?
This is what it felt like. Because Matt Brown basically said, I'm glad this is finally coming out. I'd heard a bunch of stuff. And then when someone was like, you heard it and you didn't say anything, Matt goes, I'm not big enough to take the legal hit to try to fight this one.
Oh boy!
So
I'm scared that the Australian cops are going to kick in my door. Well, my non-existent door.
There's a scene.
They're gonna come rugby punt in the door.
There's a scene in Ocean's 13, my second favorite of the Ocean's movie, where Matt Damon is hunting down a computer system called the Greco. And he's in some European city, and he's like, I don't even have a name. There's people following me. I burned through all my money. And I imagine this is someone in like Melbourne being like, people are following me. I don't know what's going on. I just have one word, pro kick. That's the only word I have. That this has turned into we have to get this out of the country. And thank you, Fox 29, Puro San Antonio, for covering this. This is an amazing story and speaks to our heart.
God, I need Mario Puzo to write the he needs to come back from the dead to write the definitive Australian punt mafia film.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea if Mario Puzo is dead. I assume so. The book looked very old, but let me see.
But it's honestly I figured that every country has some sort of.
Oh yeah, he died in 1999. Phew.
I don't really have a stereotypical image of Australian mobsters,
I assume it's the punters we see. I assume it's the Miami puncher we love.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I guess. I don't know. Even in movies.
Are neck tats that common in Australia? I assume they are.
Probably.
I mean, it is literally a island/continent full of the descendants of English prisoners. So, like,
Yeah.
like I feel like some of those are just birthmarks. It's fine.
I mean, yeah, but like my family is full of the descendants of English prisoners, so
I mean, I don't know. I kind of assume like Australian crime. Maybe I just like less on the organized,
fair.
you know. But
I should see.
I don't know. I'm
Puddles
trying
make
to
the
think
neck
of like
tattoo.
even in movies. I think there's one movie I've seen that starred Carl Weathers, and it's called Hurricane Smith, where he like goes to Australia and deals with like Australian mobsters, and it was like made by Australians. Like they just brought
Okay.
Carl Weathers in. But I mean, yeah, I can't really think of. I don't know.
I need to get a quote in here about a kid. This is from one of the investigators. Quote, there was a kid who actually outed himself. He sat down with the advisor and said, oh, you need to take these classes and these classes. And then he was like, no, I already took that in university. And they said, what? Then they did some research and they said, you've already gone to uni? You got, 2 weeks to pack your bags and get out of here. So,
Okay.
This
So
is
Georgia Tech is smart here. They're ahead of the curve. They got an Irish punter.
Yeah.
They went away from Australia. And hey, you remember you were giving grief to the person from New Zealand, the New Zealand punter.
I don't even know. This is we are so on the
How
cutting edge.
deep is the Kiwi spiracy?
Oh my god. The Kiwi spiracy.
Is this our punt Ghazi? Like
Jesus Christ.
we're gonna have holy shit, guys.
This goes all the way to down under.
If things calm down for a split second in DC, we could have punting hearings.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Okay.
The
Can you-
Senate Joint Commission on Punting.
Chaired by Senator Tuberville.
You know, I've never wanted to be an expert witness before Congress, but now I really, 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 really want to be an expert witness before Congress.
With your lawyer leaning in behind you before you say something about punting.
Oh man, I'm going to end up in the Sleepy Time Bear segment of C-SPAN, and I'm so excited.
I mean, the one thing I think about here is that I don't know. I'm not an expert on NCAA law, but you can say these players are ineligible. I just don't trust the NCAA at all for any eligibility rules to hold up in court at this
I
point.
mean, they lost another one.
They're making it all up as they go along. Look at the Diego Pocket stuff.
Another one.
One of the relatively few things that the Supreme Court will still 9-0 dunk on people for is anything the NCAA shows up in front of them with.
Sam Alito will show up to be like, nah, fucking workers' rights, as he's yamming on you. I don't even
Sam Alito windmill dunking on you. Yeah.
That's a graphic we need.
Just his balls on your face as he's windmill dunking over your.
That's right.
Yes.
Putting that case in the coffin corner.
Uh-huh.
Are you still wearing the Supreme Court robe?
Yeah, he's still wearing the robe.
Okay.
Yes.
But with his basketball shorts underneath.
Yeah.
Can we title this segment "Ineligible Player Backfield"?
Sure.
I will say that this article, it tries to bring together who's responsible and say it's not the players themselves, it's the companies representing them and the colleges and coaches who are accepting them without the proper identification verification by the university themselves. Another source within the NCAA tells us that verifying documents from halfway across the world is a challenge. So it's not their fault necessarily, but it's these college coaches, and they don't really know either because they're not taking pro kick because they're taking pro kick at face value. When they say no, this kid has never been to college.
Is this like the MLB where they have the folks that they say they're 15 and then 10 years later find out this guy's actually 37?
Or the Chinese gymnast in 2008, or
but
was that Danny Almonte in the Little League World Series or something?
Now, in Pro Kick Australia's defense, we don't have to deal with the international date line. Maybe that really screws things up.
Okay, you're absolutely right.
Every time you cross the date line, you lose a year of college, and it's just the conversion is very difficult to figure out.
True.
Linear time really is a mistake. I'm stuck on the idea of caveat emptor for punters.
Okay, I need to come up with the on three graphic. Just one word for this punting scandal.
Oh, so they fucked up big time on this.
Oh,
Not one word.
Because they posted.
That's more than one word.
Well, they
Make
it a
run on
posted
word. I
it
believe in you.
real fast because they put up
Like a
a
German.
picture of Tory Taylor with the
Oh.
caption "fraud,"
Oh,
and then someone real fast realized that is real close to being actionable.
oh God! They said Tory Taylor was fraud.
And nowhere in any article has his name ever come up. That has never even been mentioned. But they were like Aussie punter and didn't think of just pulling a punter, and so it was that with fraud underneath. Which
Oh man,
no, no swing and a miss, kids.
Great way to
I
get
mean,
sued.
Even outside of the potential actionability of that, do you really want angry Iowa fans in your mentions?
no.
Because I don't.
I'm glad
They're
they
so
like us.
sleepy right now. They're so sleepy right now.
I'm glad Iowa likes us
That was a good
because if Iowa didn't like us, this would not be.
We're the
time.
rare group where Iowa and Nebraska fans both like us.
I know.
We
Iowa,
would
Nebraska.
own at the caucuses. That's just a true
Yeah.
statement.
They moved the Iowa caucus though, isn't it? Not the first one anymore.
TBD, from what I
They-
understand.
Nothing
They
means
punted.
anything.
We'll
They
find out.
punted the caucus away.
Anyways, so when you go to your family event and uncle starts talking about American jobs being lost, I want you to jump in as hard as you can and go, "You're absolutely right, Grandpa, Uncle,
Grunkle.
Frunkle. Did you
Grunkle.
know that the U.S. punting market is down 54%? Bring it in."
Don't.
And then, but then I want you to sell it as hard as you can. Like this is your line in the sand.
I love this. I love this as a dog bites man story too.
Good job.
They did. They're absolutely. They're coming across our border. Check.
They took a
Taking
punch.
American job. Check.
Okay,
Sure,
is it a job
It's
though?
not a job. They're not employees.
That's true.
We
And they
gotta have
couldn't
that
make NIL.
conversation.
That's true.
I'm
They
sorry.
couldn't
The
make
mainstream media won't cover things that the Sickko committees will cover.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. It's time to return the kick. Is that anything?
Did Australian punts like spin the opposite direction?
We need better. Do we have clear enough footage to determine that?
I don't know.
I bet you.
We
They
can do a
spin the
rotational
opposite way off
analysis.
of the foot.
Uh-huh. Have you ever thought about standing directly at the North Pole and knowing that the world is rotating beneath you? Like the entire world is rotating beneath you at that moment?
I want to be able to make the joke that I feel that way all the time, but unfortunately, you guys know me and know the level of self-confidence I possess.
You're-
Elaborate metaphor, Jordan.
Are you a soprano one?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah. So that the joke is always how does a soprano singer screw in a light bulb? They hold the bulb up and the world revolves around them.
Oh,
Wow.
they hold the ball. You know,
So that is scandal one, Beth.
Puntergate.
Puntergate. Now
Geek.
let's go to
Puntgate.
AI
I
coaching.
really like Punt Ghazi.
Hunter
Punter
Biden's laptop.
Punter Biden's Jesus Christ.
You
Oh
won't
my
hear the
God.
mainstream media talking about Punter Biden.
Oh my god.
Pro Kick Australia was today at Puntalago.
Oh, by the way, Pro Kick Australia has not responded to any questions.
Oh,
just,
no.
just so we're real clear, their response has been to say fuck off in the most Aussie way possible.
Yeah,
I
they're in
assume.
Australia.
Yeah.
The communication hadn't made it there yet.
So the next thing, Beth, I need to tell you this story. And Pitt Girl, I don't know if you've been online enough to hear about this either. Our friends over at the Sweeper Podcast, who are way better at what they do than what we do, but they are the Stalker Sickos Committee. They're the ones that are big into San Marino, amongst other things. They got to watch the win.
Okay.
And one of the hosts of, again, they're going to be mad. They don't listen to this. It's fine. But the Sweeper Pod, one of the hosts is a comedian, Mark Robinson. His brother is one of the hosts. If you've seen Taskmaster, his brother's been on there. That's the connection. This team has a sponsor, Eidsiva, EIDSIVA, which is a AI tech company. And they decided to let an AI coach this team. Our friend Bridget, who speaks a little for one game.
For one game.
Okay.
Just one game.
So the robots aren't permanently taking jobs yet.
No. This is
a team. AI will be able to punt.
This is Hamcom 2. It's the Hamcom's reserve side. They play in the second tier, I believe, of Norwegian soccer. I need to play a bit of their video for you guys. Bridget found this for me. Bridget did a lot of the reporting on this for us, translating things from Norwegian. I just need to show you a little video here, because once I saw it, I told everyone to just not watch it, because it is very.
Wait, so what's the name of this team?
Hamcom 2, I believe.
Okay, I was hoping it was called Ham Cam, but
it does look like Hamcam.
Hamcam 2 was one of my favorite Sega Genesis games.
They're also known as Hammer Camerante, also known as the Hammer Comrades. So fuck yeah.
Basically Pokemon Snap for pigs.
Yes.
Okay, so this video starts off with people in a forest dark. It's in English, so don't worry about that. It has Norwegian subs. I'm going to pump this up for you guys.
I am not
a 5-minute long video.
I am not the normal one. I am the artificial one.
Oh my god.
What?
Okay, so it started with a computer in the dark saying,
I am not the special one. I am not the normal one. I am the artificial one.
I am the artificial one.
Oh god.
So was that I am not the special one, which is like Jose Mourinho?
Yeah. And then
I am not a normal one?
Jurgen Klopp.
And so they let this computer also make up their training routine. And it has all this real info.
Oh, these guys.
The players are curious. Let's talk about their training routine. Here we go.
Jump. Shoot 14% harder.
The coach also proposes forced hugs for team spirit.
Come on. Proper hugs.
Cool.
Forced hugs for team spirit. Come
Would you
on.
please describe what the coach looks like?
Beth, go ahead. What does Coach look like here?
So Coach looks like an outdoor version of an AV cart with a TV on an arm perched on the top of it.
It's third grade history.
And of course, like the best voice ever.
Oh my god.
I like the.
Would you like to play a game of chess?
Yeah. I like the guy in the lab coat taking notes on AI Coach, personally.
Oh, they're leaning hard into this, and I love it. Like the silliness of it. And so here's what happens on match day. On match day, they go up, they start with a 4-5-1 formation. Commish, what is a 4-5-1 real fast?
So basically you got 4 forwards. I'm sorry. That's right. 4 forwards, 5 midfielders, and then I'm sorry, no, I have it backwards.
Either way, you have it right.
One attacker, 5 midfielders, and 4 defense. So basically like fullbacks, center backs. So there's one attacker. Yeah.
So this works. And they score. What's up?
Well, you got to go back like 10 seconds. He goes over to the AI coach.
You're more accurate aiming right.
You're more accurate aiming right. The coach, they got a penalty, and then he's like, "You're more accurate aiming right." So he's like, "Okay."
And what happens?
He goes right, and that's it.
Sticking to traditional formations seems to work well, but in the pursuit of perfect solutions.
Now what happens is we got to protect the lead.
That's right.
The AI coach begins to tweak and experiment wildly, with the tactics.
New strategy, collective ball chase.
So he wants the entire team to chase the ball.
Touch ball!
Yeah,
It is
so
now-
he immediately turned it into like a 6-year-old soccer game.
Yes.
Mhm.
The
And
amoeba formation.
the other team, NES, scores.
Scores
Formation.
immediately.
And now they
Okay.
go into a 1-0-9 formation.
So this is
Hey,
all right.
fans of the U.S. men's national team of the last 20 years, you may recognize this formation. We call this Park the Bus.
1-0-9.
No,
No, they're
not
they're putting
1-0-9.
9 forwards.
Oh, sorry, other way.
Yeah.
My bad.
So
I also
9 forwards,
Yeah,
one.
So
one
I believe
defense.
this one is called the "Fuck It, We Ball."
Yeah.
or the I'm afraid the opposing goalie is lonely.
I just love that no one can read soccer formations.
Yeah, sorry. You also need this picture right here of someone will screen cap this for me, post it in the chat.
God.
You can see how stupid this looks.
Soccer formations to me are like the date that they put. Like they put the
Yeah, it's
the
backwards.
month
Why
first.
is it backwards?
Yeah.
the month
that's-
first, and then it's the day, and then it's like, we're like, they do it the opposite of what we do.
Yeah,
where it's
insert
like,
all dumb Americans comments on the podcast.
yes, here we go. Oh,
Double
So
park
now-
the bus.
Now we
park
have
the
double
bus.
park the bus.
Do not double park the bus. You're going to get a boot on the bus.
Well,
so double park the bus. Basically, the entire team is inside the 6-yard box. The entire team is in the 6-yard box with the goalie. Yes.
Oh my
Anyways,
God.
they lose the game. They're like, well, we probably do need humans. I love the actor that they dressed up, Beth, like you
Oh,
said,
no.
in the
Tell them-
lab coat.
Tell the final score.
What was the final score?
6-1.
6-1, yeah.
They got the first goal.
And then they got
The
that
AI
ass
told
beat.
them, then let's put all the forwards up.
incredible.
I mean, so like, what's going on here? Because this is clearly not like real. It's like
I mean, it's like it was a publicity stunt by the kit sponsor. But
right. But
what
I'm
I
saying,
can tell, this is an actual game that counted.
Yeah.
but like it's very like I'm saying like they didn't really have like AI like actually doing this. Like they definitely just like scripted this, tried to make it funny, and then like they filmed it.
I think that it happened and there were 3 edits available. The horror edit, which we've seen pieces of, the comedy edit, and the sports edit. And they have cut for comedy. But I guarantee you that if they had won, we would have gotten a sports hero edit.
Yeah, well, they weren't gonna win because that wasn't the script.
True.
When we talk about, I want AI to do the shit I don't want to do, so I have time to do the things I want to do. I don't need it to make art for me. I need it to do my dishes so I can make art. This is so perfectly hilarious and an encapsulation of this kind of, oh God. When I saw this, my initial response was revulsion. Like seal is a seal kind of thing.
Mhm.
But
Hot take: seal is a seal is fine, actually.
I'm glad you think so. It's fine. Like, you can like bad things. Beth and I had this conversation the other day. It's okay to like bad things.
Mhm.
I like lots of bad things.
I'm not saying I liked seal as a seal, but like it's fine. I've seen things that have made my eyes bleed more, like UNC stand band T-shirts
Wait, like the singer Seal?
in the Super Bowl ad.
As a seal.
Oh.
It's a seal.
As a
Oh,
seal.
okay. I don't know. Maybe that was. I don't know. I didn't see it, so I don't know. But
Just look at that picture right now for me, Arthur, while we're talking. Pitt Girl, how does this sit for you? That fact that like this existed.
I mean, it's funny. I think, Arthur may be right, and maybe this was not entirely, we trained an AI, maybe we trained an AI model on thousands of hours of the B movie, right? Like maybe it's not as 100% AI generated, as people would like us to believe. Quality bit. I'll allow it. Either way, funny bit. If it's legit, we have had a really good demonstration of AI not working. Shout out also to the guy in the Washington, and I am repeating a bit from Trash Future. But shout out also to the guy who wrote a whole Washington Post article about how he let one of those AI agents like buy eggs for him and accidentally ended up spending $30 on a single carton of eggs. The computers are real smart, guys. You should definitely let them think for you.
Mm-hmm. Have the computer design your next chicken gitmo.
Escher's Chicken Gitmo, brought to you by ChatGPT.
We do have a small soccer story that I'm going to move to adjacently, because soccer scores can only vary. I think a lot of times can only be interesting in terms of magnitude of the win.
Mm.
In the under 17 World Cup qualifiers, the U.S. men beat the U.S. Virgin Islands 22-0.
Oh no!
Can I read some text I received about this last night?
Yeah, go for it, brother.
Scroll down to them. This is from my buddy. I probably will now send this episode to him. His dad texted him on Fox Sports 2. USA versus U.S. Virgin Islands is 18-0. Oh my, gotta be a record. Now it's 19-0. As I'm sending this text, one guy has a triple hat trick. LOL. We are up 21-0. My mom and I said they will definitely be rethinking their soccer careers in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
This is an issue in which a team just gets outplayed and you don't call off the dogs because goal differential counts. So you can't call off the dogs in soccer. That just doesn't exist. And yeah, and Commish and I had like a little mini conversation about whether this is punching down or not. And I go, if we're talking about it in terms of this is an interesting thing, I'm okay with it. We all recognize that you have the United States and you have the U.S. Virgin Islands. That the U.S. Virgin Islands gets their own team for things is amazing, because this is one of those like vestigial. Oh, I said that really badly. Yeah. Vestigial bits of like CONCACAF and FIFA when they used to allow non-state entities. Can I use that term?
I think that is fair.
To have their own.
The UN might describe the USVI as a non-self-governing territory.
I would.
I don't think they're on the list, but like, you know.
Let's check the verbiage here.
It is a minor, an unincorporated.
It's a territory.
Yes, it's a United States territory. It's not like a minor outlying island.
Right. And so they're clearly going to have a bad time against the United States. And okay, this happens. That's fine. And so I think as long as we're not sitting there going like, lol, look at this team, versus like, no, this was just always like predestined to happen. It was going to be a rough one, especially when you go younger. Yes, Pitt Girl.
I would like to state for the record that the USVI is in fact on the UN list of non-self-governing territories. Has been since 1946.
Can we just put this in context? The USVI, according to a very trusty source, the 2020 census, 87,000 people. That would be like the 400th largest or 350 largest city in the United States. Some cities that have around 90,000 people are Sandy, Utah, Sunrise, Florida, Macon, Georgia, Boca, Greenville, North Carolina, and Chico, California. So like it'd be like if the United States was playing like the youth team of Chico, California, or Boca Raton.
Okay.
So that's the context, really, if you think about it.
It's Reading, Pitt Girl.
Okay.
Is Reading about 90,000?
Yeah, 94,000.
There you go.
I mean, I do think the U.S. should.
We always have to translate
small towns
to Pennsylvania.
Take them on.
Pennsylvania town.
We have also got to say goodbye to a college football team. One folded today. Commish. Who did we lose?
Farewell to our Stallions of North American University. Or North American.
What
University
is North American best known for, would you say?
Probably losing really, really big to FCS teams.
Yeah.
91-0 to Portland State, I believe. A Portland State team.
Yes.
It was never great.
That's a public service.
They lost to Stephen F. Austin last year. Last year, Stephen F. Austin was up 70-0 at halftime, and then they decided to do 5-minute quarters and a running clock for the second half. They lost to, oh my God, Reddit CFB posted some more scores.
So wait, so this was our chance to get another 1916 Cumberland Georgia Tech, and we lost that.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So they lost 77-0 to Stephen F. Austin this year. They lost 80-0 to another NAIA school.
Wow.
So, Commish,
Texas Wesleyan.
You say another NAIA school. Whether they were NAIA or not was never super clear. They described it as aspirational, I believe.
So they were technically,
were they in the Sooner Conference?
I don't even know what conference they were in.
You don't know your NAIA conferences. You don't know ball.
Now they're in no conference.
They also lost to D3 Hardin-Simmons 90-7.
Oh, they scored.
Okay, but they're very good. Hardin-Simmons is very good.
At least they scored.
Yes. Yeah, former Frontier conference member Hardin-Simmons.
Oh, so, that one sure. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
This is also famous for...
I'm sorry, Border Conference, not Frontier.
Oh, yeah, but you don't know ball. God. You don't know who's in the fucking...
I mean, I'm wearing a shirt right now.
His ass.
This was also famous for when they played Lamar as an opener. They had no logo, and ESPN just had them listed as like the gray circle logo. Allegedly, this is a sham school that is covering up an athletics department and some foreign money investments. This is not a loss to anyone or anything except these players who got screwed out of a chance to play again by some people who were just fucking with them. This is something that's way more common in basketball because it's easier to fuck over 12 people than it is to fuck over 70. But don't worry, they're going to double down and focus on their basketball teams.
Great.
There are 8 remaining sports, which are NAIA aspirational.
I love the aspirational language here is so good. Like the North American University was NAIA aspirational.
Kind of like how I'm aspiring to have a full head of hair, but
Yeah, like they are NAIA aspirational, and I am America's Next Top Model aspirational.
Mm-hmm.
I think Florida State and Clemson should talk about their conference affiliation like this. What conference are you in? Well, we're Big Ten aspirational.
We're SEC aspirational.
I mean, NAIA stands for the National Association of Inspirational, Athletics.
I want folks who understand higher ed. I'm going to say this next sentence, and it's going to make your fucking brain tingle. They are accredited by, quote, the Accrediting Commission of Career Schools and Colleges.
Oh, okay.
If you don't know what I just said, that means nothing to you. Beth, is that a regional accreditation that you've ever heard of? Is that SACSI or anything?
No. Like
so this organization, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, of course it is. They accredited the University of Northern New Jersey, who never actually offered any classes.
I was gonna say, like, that name sounds super legit.
Trump University accreditation.
Yeah, so this is one of those. If you don't know, listeners, the reason we're making this joke is that most schools, colleges, universities in the United States are accredited by regional bodies. In the South, it's SACSI, which is basically the group that says your college is functioning like a college. Within that, there are places that'll be like, oh, we're the music school we're the music school group. We'll come and make sure your music school is actually being a music school, or your accounting school is actually being an accounting school. And then there's a bunch of ones that are bullshit. And
you can give us some money, and we will give you a paper that tells you that everything is fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, the Accrediting Commission of Career Schools and Colleges is recognized by the U.S. Department of Education. So technically they are accredited.
Okay.
Look up on Google Maps. Just Google Maps, or I guess another map if you want. Just look up North American University.
Oh, I already know.
Wait, are they near the Gulf of... Hold up, let me see.
Jesus,
I'm sorry,
we're not
that
doing
is the Gulf of Kenny Pickett Super Bowl winner.
They're like just kind of in an office building.
Yeah.
Like a suburban, like it's like
They play at high school.
Yeah.
There's an
have
independent
a
living
home field?
facility right next door.
Yeah.
And they're across a like classic Texas strode from Mark McGrath Municipal Park.
They're in a building. They're in a building that also houses a house cleaning service, a medical center, and an intensive ESL school.
And they have an EV charging station.
Wait, Mark McGrath Park? Like from...
That's what it says. Mark
Sugar Ray?
McGrath's Municipal Park, Meadows Place, Texas.
That's not the same Mark McGrath, is
No,
it?
it's not.
Outdoor
it's
parking,
not
street
Mark McGrath.
parking, parking lot, good for kids. Cityofmeadowsplace.org. We're going to learn more.
Anyways, this is...
Someday
North
when my
American
park
University
has passed me
like, so here's what the problem it creates is that we are in February and this opens up two scheduling holes because there are two FBS teams who had them scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
There's some funny things about this. One of them is the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, UTRGV, who is brand new
brand spanking new.
next year to FCS, sorry, not to FCS football, to football. And the other team that had scheduled them was Prairie View A&M. And you go, cool. We just make UTRGV and PVAMU the longest acronyms possible play each other. The problem is, folks, they already play each other.
Okay.
UTRGV
home
is
and home.
struggling. I mean, that would make a home and home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you have a
Just do
problem
it again.
with this.
Just do it again. It's fine. They can play twice.
Another one.
This is...
Man,
I know-
I'm sad. I'm sad for North American University because, you know, when it's over, that's the time I fall in love again.
I thought you would be happy because now you know if someone uses the phrase NAU, which school they're referring to.
I mean, you know,
I feel like we already knew.
Yeah,
we already knew that.
Every once in a while, though, something would come up and I'd be like, what the fuck is Northern Arizona doing? Oh, it's fucking NA. It's the fake school.
Not that. NAU.
Allegedly.
Not that one.
Not that one.
The alleged school.
The alleged school. Okay, let me make sure I have...
Enrollment.
The alleged school formerly known as NAU.
I mean, some say better things will come our way.
Oh, it's the same size as Teal.
Two other small college football things I want to talk about. One, Tulane is finally going to get an enclosed
Oh yeah,
indoor practice facility.
Oh yeah.
And
Wait.
we need
Is there a
we need an
distinction between enclosed and indoor?
It's enclosed. No, it just says enclosed practice facility.
Okay, is it like a tennis bubble?
Yeah, it's one of those bubbly buildings.
So, but enclosed to me, like you put something in a fenced-in area and it's enclosed. Please tell me that they're going to have to practice
There's
in
a
a hedge
roof.
maze.
There's a roof.
Yeah, no, I saw the picture. I saw the picture of the roof. I was just wondering if it was
There's a roof.
for whatever reason
similarly-
not permitted to be called indoor.
Technically, like a gazebo has an inside,
Good point.
but it's
Yeah,
not fully enclosed.
Yeah, and there are other practice facilities that have a roof for rain, but they're open on either side. But I can't remember what school.
I know that
Some of it's
the
mental
stadium in LA, SoFi
Yeah,
Stadium,
SoFi Stadium.
is like that.
I think
Where
it
you
might be
can
Southern
have a
Winds.
lightning delay even though there's a roof because it's like still unsafe.
I mean, from the picture, it just looks like a bubble.
Yeah,
But,
I
you
saw
know.
the picture.
Maybe there aren't doors, and so it can't be indoors since no doors are involved.
I mean,
I would hope there are
Ooh,
doors if it's a bubble because
I would think
it
so.
won't stay inflated if you.
so if it's a
have
if it's
open
a bubble,
pathways.
like Tulane, you got to call this the Seafoam Dome.
No, you enter the bubble doesn't have doors because you enter
Below.
from a doorless underground tunnel. Yes.
Yeah, you groundhog your way into that shit.
You can't
It's
do
New
that in
Orleans.
New Orleans. You can't do that in New Orleans.
Yeah, like teal. Exactly.
It's it's UAB. They have like a roof on top of their one of their fields, but it doesn't have walls.
Yeah, that's something like ULM would do.
Practice gazebo.
Yes.
The
You're just
practice
playing under a
pergola.
very large umbrella.
Yeah.
What are we going to
Practice make
call this thing?
pergola.
I have some ideas. I like the splash pad.
Yeah.
I heard the wave pool.
Yeah. I mean, I said if it's a bubble, we'd call it the Seafoam Dome.
Yeah.
But, not good enough for you. It's fine.
No, it's not. It's not. It's fine.
No.
What else are we gonna call the kiddie pool?
Somebody said the wave plus bubble. It's the wubble.
The wubble.
Oh, I like that.
Ooh,
At the
Ooh,
wubble.
I like that.
The wave cave.
The wave
Okay.
cave.
That
Okay.
sounds like something I don't want to Google.
Hurricane Harbor. That sounds like a ride at like a water park.
Yep,
No,
that
this
is a
is-
water
this
park
is a
ride
water
at a
park.
shitty theme park.
Or
Yeah.
at a really
Park.
or at
Some-
like one of like the little beach pop-up amusement parks.
Yeah.
Somebody
Yeah.
said call it the Tide Pod.
Oh, that's
Okay.
very good.
No, that's at
That's it.
Alabama.
Yeah, that's so good. Anyways, I'm happy for them because you know what sucks? Heat stroke.
It does.
And in New Orleans humidity. So
Mhm.
I'm all for this. I've been way too band focused on the Blue Sky account lately, talking about people not drinking enough water. I'm been on a very hydration kick this week. And I'm just glad people get to drink water.
You just care a lot about being a good teammate.
I really
appreciate that
do.
about you.
You're not a bad guy.
And then lastly, the last little bit of news here that won't matter to anyone but us. East Carolina has hired AJ Limbo as
Yeah.
their football's program director of scouting. This is son of Pete Limbuffalo.
East Carolembo.
East
Someone said
Carolina.
Pete Limbucko.
That was good.
AJ Lembucko.
AJ Limbucko. I'm really looking forward next year to being able to post, you just got East Carolemboed about someone.
That's
Every Lembo boy and girl all around the Lembo world.
I remember there being one of those like weird abstinence cartoons that involved limbos. I saw it in middle school.
I need so much more context for
I don't have much.
everything that
I'll
just
have to find
happened.
it. I'll have to see. It's online somewhere. It's gotta be. It was an abstinence video we watched in like middle school sex ed, and there was like a limbo part of it. I want to say God limboed, but like to like a Rasta song, like a very like Jamaican conga. I don't know, man. It was weird.
Lo unto you, God
you
has
mean-
limbo.
You mean limboed?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you kept saying limbo the
He
entire
has-
time.
Sorry.
Definitely said limboed a couple times. It's
I
fine.
was like,
No,
is limbo like a real word?
That's my pen merger, asshole. Stop making fun of my fucking my one dialect issue.
Wait,
I'm gonna throw a pillow at you.
I'm gonna start calling them pillows and see how long it takes before someone actually gets angry at me.
That is
I
a
mean-
PA thing, and I do sometimes catch myself saying it, and then I get mad.
Calling
maybe,
it pillow
maybe,
instead of a pillow.
maybe
Yeah,
since,
I've heard that.
Yeah,
maybe
Beth,
since
how many
Pete
times in your life
Limbo-
have you said milk?
Oh,
I mean this morning.
Countless.
That is
mean,
my
maybe-
default, and I have to like that every time I will say that word. It's like a stop, reset, milk.
I mean, maybe they renamed the limbo to the limbo after he won the Bahamas Bowl.
Mhm.
Mm.
If there wasn't a limbo party for a limbo party for Coach
Limbo.
Lambo.
Limbo.
Coach Lambo. He's got a nice car.
Lambo.
We need, if you need a fundraiser idea, Buffalo, you got to do the limbo.
Mm.
He
Like,
just
you know.
got extended. They just extended
did.
Pete Buffalo.
That's right.
And
They
the,
just did.
the limbo stick too.
That's right. They raised it.
I was going to
along
say
with
that stick go
his
up.
salary pool.
Limbo
His salary
higher
pool got
now.
raised up too. Yeah, right? It's
Okay.
easier to limbo for Limbo.
Let's do our ad
little
read,
bit
and then we can get
higher
into
now.
some shooty hoops. First off, as always, folks, we are on a process of moving from Substack to Beehive.
Behave.
Arthur?
Arthur's still-
Be a
okay,
heath.
he's fine.
Arthur.
He fell asleep. He's like,
What?
We need
Beehive?
you to make the noise.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Bob. New York's newest club is Bob. Also, check the reason we do this, folks, is because it's going to give us a whole bunch of chances to do more things and also give us more flexibility as we grow this thing and give you guys more stuff that you want to read, because we're here to make sure that we have things that y'all are interested in reading. And so this will give us a better shot of us to turn this into something that can possibly work full time. We will see. Check out our link tree for all these discounts and stuff. Join our Patreon. That's our best way of supporting us right now. That's $5 a month. $7.50 if you're on Apple. Do not use the iOS login sign in to do this. Go through Safari. Go through your computer if you have one, because
Yes.
that'll save you 30%.
Do not give Tim Apple an extra $250. He does not need the extra $250.
You can go to our Patreon on your laptop or on your mobile browser. Patreon Sickos Committee. Save the $250 because it doesn't come to us. So just go ahead and do that. Skip around that Apple App Store. Sign up that way. And then, you can download the App Store after you sign up the other way and use the Patreon app that way. So
we have, of course, a new series coming out that we're working on with our friend Roger Sherman. Did you see what Roger Sherman's been up to over the last 72 hours?
Yes.
He did a dog show. He got to pet the best dogs, and so many of them. He may have a record of goodest boys and girls petted. It was amazing.
There was a bunch of accidental Bronson lyrics that he had too. He's like, I'm petting dog breeds that you've never heard of before.
That was great. That was a great tweet.
That was awesome.
Message.
Beth and I also have an idea that we're going to work on. We're going to want to hear one of our next yes, rah, rah, yeses when we get into our groove again is that we're going to want to hear fun marching band stories. And I think I'm going to put that behind the paywall. Just saying.
Yep.
Check out our merch store. Folks, last time we were at... I'm going to need to run some numbers real fast here. Because we made a joke last podcast. Sorry, Beth did. This is all Beth. Aaron, go Birds. And we have currently sold 27 of those shirts.
Oh, wow.
We're going to the good retirement home.
Insane. Thank you, Beth, for your brilliant idea.
I mean, I feel like I can't actually take credit for anything I ever come up with on the podcast, because anything I come up with here is a collaboration between me and the forces of It's Almost Midnight.
It's Almost Midnight in Altoona. My It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fucking sequel series.
It's Almost Midnight in Altoona. Do you know where your kids are? I would like to take this moment to shout out the friend of the show who specifically DM'd me to inform me that he was buying this shirt because, quote, my standby St. Patrick's Day shirt is about 20 years old and full of holes. We are here for all of your shirt needs that are not covered by our favorite sponsor. Home
Ours only
Apparel.
have 4. So.
When we get to St. Patrick's Day, if you are on South Street wearing this shirt, I will reskeet or retweet you all damn day. Mm-hmm. Like I want 1 million people wearing this shirt standing in front of Condom Kingdom. That is my dream.
I will also offer, if you are wearing this shirt and you are in Ireland at any point, please tag me. I will reskeet you.
Somebody go to Farmageddon.
Yes.
Please go to Farmageddon in this shirt.
Oh God, are we gonna need Aaron Go Pit shirts in 2 years?
Since I doubt you guys have spent much time on South Street, I just posted a picture of Condom Kingdom because I just feel like everybody needs to see it once.
I mean, yes.
Oh, it's fun. I do like
I'm
places.
just glad that the Rocco's Modern Life font found some work.
I'm glad they've got a portcullis for their kingdom.
Sure.
I regret that I am zooming in on this to try and see what exactly is going on inside the condom kingdom.
Why are you doing that? You know it's there. Wait, are those sperm on the ground trying to get into? I missed this.
See, this is why you zoom in on the condom kingdom.
Again, the goal is as many people standing in front of this building as possible wearing the Aaron Go Bird shirt.
We have our YouTube, we have our Instagram, we have our Twitch. Shout out to Message Board Geniuses podcast. They go places we refuse to go. And lastly, for the softest, comfiest, officially licensed collegiate apparel, Home Field Apparel. I got to wear my Evergreen State Gooey Duck shirt the other day, which I really loved. And it just made me happy. Pitt Girl?
I'm sorry. I Googled Condom Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Google review summary, 4.5 or 4.4 stars. Second review. I don't even know why this place is a thing, but it is.
Man.
Never change South Street. I love South Philly so much.
All around the world, statues crumble for me.
I'm not looking. I'm trying to see if there's any fun one star reviews, but unfortunately, no.
Let's keep going. We got some stuff to get to here.
1 star, it broke.
So then, with Home Field, always use our link code and use our offer code. Yes, yes, 3 ha's for 15% off your first order. I was folding some shirts today and found my Surfing Anteater UCI shirt, which you should absolutely be wearing.
Yeah, the Irvine collection is excellent.
Zot.
Grish, you are here to talk with us about basketball. The good
basketball.
El buono, I can't do the Italian. The good, the bad, and the sicko.
Wow, 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 wow.
All right, I've selected 3 good. 1 is quite funny given events of this evening. 3 bad, also now funny because of the events of this evening, and 3 sicko. So the real moral of the story here is never prepare, because I did this today, this morning, last night, and already out of date. So it's great.
Life hates it when you try.
Yeah, it's great. But some things have not changed, and Auburn is still the best team in college basketball by they lost to Florida recently by a
yeah.
point.
What happened there? Because I saw the score for that, and I was just like, I don't understand.
There's 5 really, really good teams in the SEC this year, and they all are just kind of reversing who beats the other one.
Okay.
It's Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, and a little further down, I'd argue it's probably Kentucky, even though A&M fans will probably be mad at me. But A&M fans would probably just be mad at me anyway, so that's fine. I'm willing to take the hit there. But anyway, Auburn is the best offensive team according to Ken Pom. They probably have. I don't know. The Cooper Flag thing is interesting because he's really good and also plays for Duke, so he's probably going to win the Wooden Award. But I don't know. I'm not trying to even do a hipster Janai Broome is the better player because he's not at Duke, but he's really good. They're both really good at basketball. Janai Broome.
I will also take the editorial position of fuck Duke. So someone has to take that editorial position. I am happy to do it.
How brave you are!
How brave.
I'm so brave.
I have my raging hot take is that I actually find North Carolina more annoying now.
I think that's fair.
I've kind of
why not
my toned a little bit on Duke, but this isn't a conversation about Duke. This is a conversation about Auburn. If you're on a social media platform, you just need to look up Auburn basketball memes. I'm not sure if they're all on Blue Sky now or if they're mainly on X still, but they're incredible. There are some today. They have a player named Denver Jones, and someone just kind of cropped his head onto this Denver skyline and wrote "Denver is hot this time of year" because he hits threes. So there's just incredible meme content from the Auburn faithful. And
what makes Auburn fun then? Because I've watched very little of this.
So they're the best offensive team in the country. They play 12 guys and they're all really good. They have the guy that hit the big shot against Virginia for Furman, JJ Pequise. I think that was that last tournament. Time is flying, but
2 tournaments
Linear
ago.
time
Yes.
was a mistake.
2 tournaments
Yeah.
ago. He transferred to
Yes.
Auburn and like does not play. So that's how deep they are. They're just really good. It's kind of that simple. They hit a lot of threes. They shoot a lot of threes. Their defense is pretty good, and they're playing their rival this Saturday. So I'd recommend you tune into that. They're playing Alabama. I was informed that it's the Iron Bowl of basketball, but I'd prefer to call it the Iron Basketball personally. But the Iron Bowl
Okay.
of basketball is on Saturday, so highly recommend.
Iron basketball. We like that.
I didn't want to go with like just down the list, so I jumped to a team that I talked shit about on this very podcast a few months ago. But they actually
Okay.
lost today, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. So I picked Arizona next because they started the year pretty poorly. They were 4-5, and they lost their big man around like Christmas time, the holiday period, and now they're 17-7, and they only have 2 losses in Big 12. So this is a like callback to me. This is like a freezing cold take moment.
We don't want to we don't want to like go and state who they lost to, like the name of the school, but they did just lose to one of the sicko teams you have on this doc.
Which is amazing
So-
that happened.
So this is how it worked out perfectly for you. So you preparing, you kind of threw this one up. You had no idea this was coming.
No, I did
worked
see
out
the
perfect.
matchup and I said, "Oh, that would be pretty funny," and then it did happen. So we'll get there.
It is pretty funny.
I'm not saying Arizona deserved it, but I'm saying God's timing is always right.
It's fair. It's very
Fair.
fair. Yeah. It's been really interesting to follow all the teams now that the Pac-12 rest in peace is gone, because you're just kind of like, oh, right, Washington State's in the West Coast Conference now, so they get to play Gonzaga as their in-state team instead of Washington, who's now in the Big Ten.
I love their dual branding that they are so committed
Yeah.
to.
It rocks. And Oregon State's doing the same
Pac-12
thing.
and WCC on everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
so both logos are on the court. It kind of rocks at
Perfect.
Oregon State and Washington State. But anyway, on Arizona, they had a game where they beat Iowa State. They do a Big Monday on ESPN, so it's called Big Monday, TM. And they were down 3 with like 2 seconds to go, and Caleb Love, who was at North Carolina and is a pretty sickos player, he was like 2 of 11 from 3, and he hit a 3 from like 3/4 court, and they ended up winning. So that's definitely one of the sickos games of the year. We're gonna get to, I think, the sickos game of the year in a little while. They're showing really sad Creighton fans right now with a lot of face paint on because they're losing to UConn at home. It's very funny. Sorry.
Oh no.
I'm distracted. They showed a guy that had like a pirate mustache and like a pirate hat on his bald head, and he's just sad. It was really funny. Anyway, they basically refused to shake hands with Arizona State. That was all those rivalries always get really spicy, especially when Bobby Hurley is involved, and they're playing Houston on Saturday. So even though they lost today on the road, they're playing Houston on Saturday. So that should also be a really good game. The third team I put in the good section is a Big East team, and not the one you're probably thinking of, because UConn, though they've won 2 straight tournaments and they're winning right now, but they're not as good as they've been the last few years. Some are saying that Danny Hurley is washed, but I wouldn't be one of them. St. John's, Rick Pitino, they're 21-3. He's a very good coach. They're the second best defense in the country. They have 10 wins in a row. They won at UConn. They're really good. So those are the 3 good teams. The bad, and I'm sure all of you will want to chime in on this first one, because it's just like a lane line of dunking with this team. Green Bay, who notably is coached by Doug Gottlieb, who is still
Yeah.
who's still doing his
We know him.
So he didn't stop doing the radio show, right? He at the beginning of the season, he was, I think, leaving practice early to go do the radio show. So clearly he was taking coaching a mid-major team in Wisconsin very seriously. They're awful. They have 2 wins. They haven't won since November. They're 0-14 in their conference, the Horizon League. They're like 3rd from the bottom in defense. They're only on KenPom favored in 1 remaining game. So I'd say that the Doug Gottlieb experiment has failed, and I wouldn't recommend hiring a podcaster to be your head basketball coach for a NCAA Division I team.
Commish.
But you can hire us.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll do it. I won't have. I'm on this podcast, but I won't have a podcast that interrupts practice time. But
Commish, I'm going to have to do something here that I don't like to do. Green Bay is still above ULM and New Orleans.
Yeah, I was just about to ask, Grish, over whom are they favored?
They're favored at home against Detroit Mercy, who's pretty bad. They're 341 in Ken Palm, and yes, New Orleans, ULM and New Orleans are both below them, unfortunately.
And when are they playing Detroit Mercy? I am asking this so I may mark my calendar.
That game is on February 27th.
Okay.
And they're favored by 1 at home.
And how can I watch this game?
Oh, let me check.
What am I going to have to conjure together?
It's probably on. I would assume it's on
Facebook Live.
No, the Horizon is usually on ESPN Plus. That's how I watch the University.
Okay.
IU Indy, that's still painful. Our IUPUI Jaguars changed their name. So let me just double check and make sure that game is going to be on ESPN Plus, and then we'll move on.
So I mean, like, look. The Ken Palm rating has Green Bay at 341, right? And then and New Orleans and the Privateers and ULM are right next to each other. But ULM is 6-19, and New Orleans is 4-21. They have more wins. So I mean, whatever.
So
Ken Palm.
What I'm hearing here is Commish says scoreboard.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Green Bay has 1 good win, so but they only have 2 wins total. So I don't know if that's boosting them. Maybe they score enough points that the analytics kind of like them. I'm really not sure on the whole formula here. It's probably very complex anyway. But yeah,
I'm just gonna say this: ULM's coach is gone after this year, and New Orleans' coach I probably think is not going well. New Orleans, the Privateers have like a funding issue. They tried to get a football team that got voted down by the students. So, I mean, athletics at that school not necessarily been a priority whatsoever. It's mostly a commuter school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who are well, first off, by the way, I did also see that I believe Doug Gottlieb was at Super Bowl Media Row.
He was.
Yep.
Yeah.
He went there. He did his show.
And then he watched via FaceTime his practice, I believe. So that's coaching.
There's some animosity going on the UConn Creighton handshake. And he really pulled McDermott in close and was talking into his shoulder. It was pretty fun.
Is he doing the Mac Brown? Is he trying to steal his life force?
No, it wasn't like that. He kind of hooked him. I didn't take his
So he was trying to claw game him out of reality.
A little bit, yeah. But all the remaining Green Bay games are on ESPN Plus if you're so inclined.
Okay, good to know.
And that game is on February 27th at 6 p.m. God's time Central.
Are you claiming this experiment has failed? Is that the general belief now?
I would say pretty profoundly that it has indeed failed.
Okay.
Personally.
Well, so here's the question though, and this is the question I always come up with in these situations, which is, what was the goal? Was the goal to win at basketball, or was the goal to have as many people talking about Green Bay basketball as is humanly possible?
Well, the thing is, they were pretty good last year. They were 18-14 last year, and really bad the year before that. So they had been bad, but their coach, who has a phenomenal name, the coach last year, Sundance Wicks, left for Wyoming.
Oh, hell yeah!
Is now the coach. Is now the coach at Wyoming.
Wait, the Sundance kid left Green Bay for Wyoming.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I was thinking they were showing a John Wick movie at the Sundance Festival.
And he's from Wyoming.
I mean, it could have been.
He went back.
I must go west.
Do you really need a nickname when your name is Sundance? His nickname is Sunny. Do you need that nickname?
No, Sundance.
Yeah, that is absolutely an instance where I would be like, no, my name is Sundance. You will call me Sundance. You will deliver unto me the respect that I deserve.
He was also a player himself, and at Northern State, which is a university in Aberdeen, South Dakota, he was a basketball player and a track athlete who did hurdles.
That's wonderful. There's a certain amount of there's a certain amount of nominative determinism going on here. It's like the guy I saw in Sheets today.
Sundance Wicks.
So I was in the Sheets up in the northern part of Cambria County today, and I was walking past the beer cave and saw someone emerged from the beer cave who was wearing a Realtree camo shirt for a local auto parts store in a very, very teeny town, was wearing a hat for a tree service, and had a shirt on that read Groundhog Groupie. That's like a Punxsutawney Gobbler's Knob shirt.
Yeah.
He looked like Franco Harris if Franco Harris was about 4 times the size of Franco Harris. Just like, he's a very, very big dude. And like, it takes a lot in Sheets for me to be like, wow, that is an interesting looking person. But like, this guy managed it. And 2 seconds after I saw him, I hear someone behind me go, Frank, what you doing, buddy? And I'm like, you are the platonic ideal of Franks. You are the Frank that like all Franks want to be.
Yeah, that guy's name, now that you say it, yeah, that guy's name could not possibly have been anything other than Frank.
It is the correct name for this person.
Who else are our bad teams, Grish?
So of the 3 I've selected, I've also selected Miami, Florida, notably, who are worse. They're worse on Ken Palm than Miami of Ohio, so they have to be referred to as Miami, Florida for the rest of the season. Unfortunately, again, for my narrative, they actually won today against Syracuse, so maybe I should have done Syracuse instead. My Wi-Fi really bad, so I don't know if you can hear me, but
we can hear you.
Yeah, Jim Larinaga. Jim Larinaga retired apparently because they're very bad. So he was old, so like I get it. Like I'd rather be on.
It seemed like it was like a forced retirement thing.
Yeah, he also said some negative NIL stuff when I'm like, buddy, you built an Elite 8 team using NIL, so I don't know. That was a little strange.
Miami make
but
the Final
he was
Four?
a great coach, and he's
like recently,
yes, like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and they're terrible. They're 6-18, as I mentioned. They beat Syracuse today. They're 30 places behind Miami, Ohio on Ken Palm, and they've now gone from the Final Four to 1 ACC, now 2 ACC wins. So they have plural ACC wins.
So they beat Notre Dame. Give them credit.
They beat Notre Dame and they beat Syracuse. So that shows you the quality of the ACC this year, that Miami is this bad. I mean, it's just kind of a nightmarishly poor season for the ACC, including our poor Pitt that is not living up to the expectation. I saw
Bubble Watch Pitt. I saw someone use the actual term Bubble Watch Pitt.
Oh my God. No, we're not doing this again.
No,
I mean, I didn't even check on the score. Last I saw, we were getting our ass beat by SMU.
Yeah, you lost
we lost that. Yeah, we lost that stupid ass game on Saturday to UNC. We got our asses kicked by Virginia. We are not on the bubble.
No.
Don't do
the bubble has burst, unfortunately, for the Pitt.
Yeah, there is no bubble.
Coward. Okay, who else is our other bad team?
Seton Hall won the NIT a few years ago. They hired St. Peter's as coach of the Peacocks. It looked like they kind of had it going. They are, I think, on Ken Palm, the worst team. They're definitely worse than DePaul. So, like, that's an accomplishment, to be honest with you. They're 6-18.
It's gotta be.
They beat DePaul, but DePaul is technically better than them. DePaul is actually pretty good this year, honestly.
No, DePaul beat them like 74-57 or something.
Yeah,
I mean, wasn't DePaul having their like moment of glory earlier in the season?
Yeah, because they have two. Well, they started 7-0, but a couple of the wins were total nonsense and against awful teams.
My headcanon for DePaul has always been, since they're the Blue Demons, that they're like the middle management of Duke. The devil is in charge.
I'm so glad you said this.
Duke's underling.
Yeah.
So, like, DePaul, for DePaul, they're 11-14. They're 2-12 in the Big East, but like, they went years without winning a Big East game. So that's pretty good for them. Seton Hall has been good recently. Last year they were 25-12 and won the NIT. They beat the Sycamores, Indiana State, in the final. They were good last year. Obviously, college basketball is a much different sport now because of the transfer portal. than it's ever been before. I mean, it's fewer players, so you can really turn over a roster quickly, and we'll get to that with one of the Sickos teams.
I feel bad for Seton Hall. Like the bottom just totally dropped out. Is this on the coach, or is it just like they lost everybody in the portal?
I think a lot of players either graduated or left. I mean, I can check the roster in live.
I mean, they won the NIT over our beloved Indiana State Sycamores last year.
Yeah.
And I mean, for them to just be like this bad this year, like it feels like the bottom dropped out.
So their best player went to St. John's. Their
Rick Pitino stole them.
Yeah, their second best player hasn't been having a good year. Their third best player, also not as good. The guy, so their two best players, one went to St. John's and one went to Ole Miss.
Okay.
Hey, Lane Kiffin taking people in the portal again. I swear, Lane.
Tampering.
Rude.
If you have any facts about any violations, email compliance@olemiss.edu.
Let me just see who they tried to bring in. They brought in a guy from hang on. Sorry, I should have done this on the pre-prep. But clearly the pre-prep was worthless because like half the things I wrote are useless after one day, 24 hours.
Sickos Committee Googles things.
I also feel like attempting to anticipate what bonkers questions we're going to ask you is an exercise that will hurt you.
Right. That is
yes.
true. I'm glad.
That way lies madness.
Here also lies madness, though, so I'm not really sure what the gain is.
Like worse madness.
Yeah. Well, having looked at their roster, it just appears that they're not good. So,
okay,
they got a player from Boston College who's not very. I mean, I don't want to insult these kids, but like the team's just not good. It is what it is. So that's the third team. The Big East, not having their best year. So I would say that's kind of the one that stands out. St. John's is definitely the best team. Marquette will have a high seed. Creighton's pretty good. They just lost to UConn. UConn's, as I mentioned already, they're like 110th in defense. So like that's something to follow. They won tonight but they lost to St. John's. So they're 17-7, 9-4 in the Big East. But yeah, that's those are the three bad teams. Now, and one of the teams
we had El Buono, we've had El Bruto, and now we've got to have El Sicko.
All right, so this is the team I'm most excited to talk about for so many reasons. I mean, there's so many storylines. There's so many storylines here, folks. It's the Kansas State Wildcats. They went crazy in NIL. They brought in Coleman Hawkins from Illinois. They brought in Doug McDaniel, who originally was at Michigan. Their coach created a massive feud with Iowa State, saying that there was a Connor Stallions adjacent guy filming their play calls with his cell phone. He refused to shake Kansas's coach's hand after a game. So he's like a known hater for some reason. But he's a Baylor assistant. So I'm sure if folks know about Baylor University, they can presume like his sort of ethos there. And so they've had a 6-game losing streak this year. They've had a 5-game winning streak. They beat Iowa State and Ames. They beat Kansas at home, and they beat Arizona today. So So let's talk our way through this season. I just kind of did the preview. They're 13-11 in non-conference, 6-2, right? Pretty good. Then they lost to St. John's. They lost to Drake, which is pretty funny because like Drake is a mid-major in that part of the country. Then they lost to Wichita State away from home, 84-65. So they were 6-5. They beat Cincinnati at home by 3. Then they went on that.
Who was ranked 16 at the time? Yeah.
And now Cincinnati, they're not very good, but they were ranked at the time. And then they went on a 6-game losing streak. So they started the Big 12 1-6, and they were 7-11 in the conference. Since then, when they lost to Baylor by 8, they've beaten West Virginia at home, Oklahoma State at home.
I don't want to talk about it.
Iowa State away, Arizona State away, Kansas at home, and Arizona at home. So they went from 1-6 to 7-6 with wins over the 8th place team in Ken Palm, the 10th place team in Ken Palm, and Arizona, the 14th place team in Ken Palm, and West Virginia was like a pretty much bubble team and nearly got consideration for this
West Virginia is a damn chaos team
Yeah, they're
this
just
year.
complete chaos this year.
What do? We lose to Kansas State at home. What else do you do? We beat Kansas in the fog.
Yeah, they won in the fog. Yeah, I don't understand them either.
We beat Gonzaga, cause sure.
Yeah, they beat Gonzaga in the Bahamas tournament.
Yeah, this is this very stupid team.
Yeah.
Hey, Pitt basketball, real dumb, did win the brawl.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. It
is important. I have that.
So yeah, Kansas State. I mean, I recommend like looking into the beef and the drama there. It's actually really funny. There's like great Twitter edit videos where people post, like the Iowa State people were posting it, like making fun of him, and then they lost at home to them. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, so Kansas State, definitely a big Sickos team. I've selected what I think is the bubbliest team that's ever bubbled this year, at least. And obviously the bubble gets more interesting now that we're in mid-February and getting towards like who actually has the resume to get in. And, you know, are these teams that are like 8-12 in their conference going to get in the tournament? I've selected Xavier here. Sean Miller is a very funny coach. Also
and sweaty
on actual crimes, and he's extremely sweaty.
Very sweaty.
So he's in a good place for it.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure that all that Skyline chili makes him sweat also. They are 14-10. They have some really good wins. They beat Marquette away.
Okay.
That's their only really good win. They beat UConn at home. The last 6 games, they went loss, win, loss, win, loss. So, you know, they're just kind of back and forth. So they're 6-7 in the Big East. They're just kind of like the most mid team I could find, honestly. They have 3 really good wins, so they're probably in. But like the Big East is so weird this year. Like they're playing Providence away on tomorrow, and that's literally a complete toss-up game because Providence is a really tough place to play. Those fans are insane. If anybody's been following the like beef between them and their former coach that's now at Georgetown, you'll know that that's just like a complete mess. And really,
the Ed Cooley, Georgetown. I mean,
Ed Cooley also tried to fight a fan after the game ended at Xavier, like in the stands. Someone was yelling at him apparently, and he like instead of going to shake Sean Miller's hand, like went to go try to like talk to this guy. So yeah, the Big East doesn't fail to give us drama, but yeah, I feel like Xavier Sickos just because they're like the perfect bubble team where they're probably going to be in. But if they crater and like lose to DePaul at home or something like that, like they'll probably be out. So like they need to win the games that they need to win. And like they could do with getting one more big win against like Providence on the road or Creighton at home. That's what they have left. I mean, we're getting towards
if they continue their current parabolic win-loss thing, will they be in or out?
So they'll be 15, 16, 17, 18, and 11, 12, 13. So they'll be 18 and 13. So they'll probably be in.
Okay.
They'll have
any bad losses in there?
They'll have lost to DePaul at home and Seton Hall away and Butler away.
God,
that would be pretty funny. That might actually put them out because Seton Hall is, as we mentioned already, very bad.
Not great. Yeah, no. But unless they go on like a Big East tournament run to like the semis or something.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend keeping an eye on the Big East tournament because I just think that something really strange is going to happen. Like it wouldn't shock me.
Just like Georgetown when Georgetown won at that random past year.
Yeah.
I think
the Big East tournament is always you should just watch it. Something weird's going to happen. It always does.
Yeah, definitely. I just feel like this is the kind of team that's either going to like coalesce and figure it out, Xavier, or they're going to like have a really terrible loss. But if they alternate win-loss, they're probably out because they would have a loss to Seton Hall and a loss to DePaul. So you don't want that.
Obligatory plea to bring back the Big East in football.
Yeah. That would be great.
Also, hey, that is formerly 7-0 DePaul.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Put some respect on DePaul.
Yes.
Put some respect.
All right. So
El Marato, El Sicko.
Our third Sickos team here is the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Their coach was really like on the hot seat, like the chair was on fire. They started the year 6-5 with losses to North Texas at home. They lost to Wichita and Wake Forest at their like MTE event, their multi-team event. They lost to Michigan State, Indiana. So they barely beat Yale, who's very good, but they brought Yale in. I don't know why you would do that. Not recommended. Yale's very good, but they beat them. And then they were 0-6 in the Big Ten. So it's like, oh, this is over. Then they beat Michigan at home in overtime. Michigan only has 2 Big Ten losses. One of them is to Purdue on the road, and one of them is to Minnesota in overtime on the road. So, like, good. And then they beat Iowa, and then they beat Oregon. It's like, oh, is this team any good? It doesn't appear that they're good, but they're definitely sicko. I mean, it's like kind of random number generator-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 4-9 in the conference, so like not good, but like they do weird things. So that game against Michigan happened. It was a half-court buzzer beater in overtime by their best player, who is another extremely sweaty human being. If you guys want to put a picture of Dawson Garcia in the chat, he's really sweaty. Like, I've seen him play live. He's like a perspirer. Like, there's sweating at a basketball game, and then there's this guy like drenched, and he has frosted tips.
Hell yeah!
His hair. Someone said he looks like a porcupine, where the back of the spines are black, and then they come to like a lighter, like almost cream.
It's kind of honey badgery.
Oh my gosh.
It's giving honey badger vibes as well. But I also want to shout out the Sickos game of the year, which was a Minnesota-Ohio State game in the barn. That's their arena. They refer to it as the barn. So the students dress up as farm animals. It's actually really cute and funny. So they couldn't hit a free throw. Let me pull up the box score, honestly, of this game. They lost in double overtime, 89-88. Does this not have free throw percentage? I guess Ken Palm doesn't care about free throws. Let me pull up the actual box score. They fouled up 2. You don't want to do that. That's not recommended. You're trying to foul up 3. They fouled up 2. That was really funny. And obviously heartbreaking for the Minnesota people and the guy who did it. Obviously, I feel bad for him, but it was we must admit that it was pretty funny. I just feel like they are a bit of a chaos agent, even though they're not actually like that good. But weird things seem to happen. So when they play, I am having trouble finding this box.
The free throws of the game against Ohio State is what you're looking for?
Yes, and I'm having trouble.
They were 12 of 27.
Yeah. They lost by 1 point. So imagine if they had hit like 3 more free throws.
This is why I have a metaphorical big sign behind my couch that just says "Make your free throws."
So Ohio State in that game, they were 29 of 33.
Yep.
Yeah. So Ohio State hit like every free throw, and Minnesota basically missed all of them.
You know what's funny? Minnesota shot 12 of 28 from 3. And they were 12 of 27 from the free throw line.
That was the best part of the game. That was the start of the game. I'm so glad you said that because I was about to say that. They shot 43% from 3, and they shot 44% from the free throw line. Come on, man. Yeah, it was pretty brutal. The fouling of 2 was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen.
Now, Grish, you've included another sicko thing here.
Yeah.
You've included a conference.
Yeah. So the Atlantic 10, I think it's the most sickos conference personally. A lot of stuff happens there. Let's run down the teams that are in the A10 because we've had a lot of realignment over the last few years. So let's talk about who's in the A10. So George Mason, 20-5, 11-1 in the conference.
I remember them. Yeah.
And they were good back in the day.
Shout out to Jim Nigga taking them to the Final Four too.
There's in the cut. VCU notably also has made a Final Four. Shaka Smart. They're 9-2, 19-5 in the conference. St. Louis, who's now has Indiana State's coach and Robbie Avila.
They have the very tall man with glasses.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. 7-5, 14-11. Dayton, notably not in first place in the conference. 16-8, 6-5 in the conference. Loyola Chicago, also 6-5 in the conference. UMass is 11-13, but they're 6-5 in the A10 because why not? Then we have, I'll just read the rest of these. St. Joe's, George Washington, Duquesne, who at one point was like 2-10, and now they're like 10-14. So they've righted the ship in I don't know what part of Pittsburgh that is, but here they are.
Uptown.
Yeah.
St. Bonaventure, who started the year really well. I think they were like undefeated at one point. I mean, everybody would. Everybody had no losses to start the year, but
oh man, St. Louis got rid of their weird Biliken. They updated it.
yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So this was the old Biliken that I have there.
And
then they updated it to like this guy.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not as good.
It's just it looks wrong.
It sucks.
Yeah, hold on.
So St. Bonaventure is 5-7 in the league, but they started the season 14-1, and they have 1 win since then. So, or 3 wins. So they.
I have a Billiken question. Does that thing have 2 mouths, or is?
I think it's got like a chin neck thing going on.
So it has a watch face as a mouth, because your mouth is not supposed to have an hours and a minutes hand.
No. Definitely.
But it also has a chin on
okay.
its chin.
It has either strange facial hair or an odd cleft in the chin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, the eyes are a massive downgrade.
Yeah.
I liked the old the sad weird Billiken more than this one.
Really not as good. So St. Bonaventure was 14-1, and now they're 17-8. So not ideal.
Jesus.
Davidson College.
The wiki picture of the Billiken. Sorry.
No, I'm so glad the Billiken is distracting everybody. That's exactly what.
Boy, that has huge ceiling caddis watching you masturbate.
Oh, God.
My face when watching Pitt basketball.
Basically. No, it's just me watching the A10 every day.
I'm posting this everywhere. Keep talking.
Yeah,
please do. That needs to be everywhere.
The bottom of the conference. Davidson, shout out Steph Curry. Their famous coach McKillop retired. So they're not as good as they've been in the past. Rhode Island, notably, former Indiana coach Archie Miller is there. He said something to the effect of he got duped into reading a dumb stat, basically like, "Did y'all know the SEC is 51-51 against itself this year?" Crazy.
Did you know that the SEC is 54-54 in the last month against and then it was all conference play, so they all just played each other. So of course they're 54.
Yeah, no kidding. Thanks, Archie. So,
perfectly balanced as all conferences.
Literally the pinnacle of coaching.
No ties. Weird.
And then the last 3 teams, LaSalle, Fordham, and Richmond. Notably, this conference is just kind of like a weird footprint. There's 2 teams from Philly in the conference. So part of the Philly 5 is in the same conference. And I think they played on Super Bowl Sunday, which, playing a sporting event in Philly on Super Bowl Sunday was probably pretty funny. I'm sure everybody in the
tens of people in the Palestra.
Yeah. And they're playing. Are they playing tomorrow? Yeah, they're playing tomorrow. St. Joe's LaSalle is tomorrow.
Go Birds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flap away. So the A10, other things that have happened in the A10 this year, there was a fight in the stands at the St. Louis VCU game. They play Friday nights when there's no other action going on. There's one Fox game, and then just hey, you want to watch Dayton versus Davidson? Here it is.
Yes,
we have 3 quarter-court game winners. It's all happening in the A10. I really want to go to the conference tournament, but I think it's in Washington D.C. this year and not in Brooklyn. Oh. So I don't think I'm going to be able to go, but I'm going to go to it one year. So that'll be fun. That's all your basketball updates. So. This is the time to start really following if you haven't been already. We're about a month out from tournament. Obviously, we didn't talk a lot about the women's. We can talk about the women's when next time I come on, maybe. I've been following the Big Ten, especially. I root for half the Big Ten. But yeah, here we are. We're in February.
Yeah, the women's basketball has been fun. South Carolina just lost to Texas the other day, right?
Yeah.
And
UCLA is still notably undefeated.
Yeah,
but they're
23-0
on Thursday, so that'll be fun.
I went down a quick rabbit hole and took a picture I grabbed a picture of the LaSalle Explorer that I just put in the chat because I want to put out a general PSA. When you're going to take a picture of a mascot, make sure that you check the flash settings on your camera.
Yeah, why are his eyes like that?
His milky dead eyes.
Yeah.
Haunted blind explorer.
Oh, he's got the.
They got rid of the guy looking through the what is it called? Telescope.
The monocle?
Yeah.
Spyglass.
Spyglass. Yeah. He's no longer the primary mascot. It's just an L with LaSalle in like the middle.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at Blue Sky where Jordan has done as promised and posted the SLU mascot from Wikipedia with no context. Right now we have one reply from a Trey D's nuts.
Oh,
yeah.
Where's my fucking mom?
Thank you so much for that. That's perfect.
Arthur, we got about 5 minutes. You want to hit us up with some Daytona 500?
Someone see the other reply.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit. I mean, so
somebody quoted it. Oh, good God, what is that?
Things have really gone downhill for the snow miser.
Go ahead, Daytona. Hurry, go.
Daytona. Sorry.
Yeah, so the biggest thing this year is like relative to other years, or at least previous years recently, is that the way to get into the race for the cars that are not like the regular, they're having to compete more because there are only 4 spots, and in previous years there have been 6 drivers trying to get those 4 spots. This year we're going to have 9 drivers trying to get those 4 spots. Now, one of the drivers, Elio Castro Neves, has been given like a provisional entry by NASCAR, so he's in no matter what. But the other 8 are going to have to go for those 4 spots. So those 8 drivers are Corey LaJoy, Justin Allgaier, JJ Yaley, Martin Truex Jr., Chandler Smith, BJ McLeod, and Jimmy Johnson. So there are multiple, guys who have won NASCAR championships before. Like they're going to have to race their way in alongside everybody else. And it could be interesting. So Thursday night is when the race is, right? So they split the field into 2, and then in each race, the highest finishing car that's, has to race their way in, the highest finishing car is in, and then there's 2 more people that get in on like the qualifying speed, and that's it. So there's 8 drivers going for those 4 spots.
Cool.
Anthony Alfredo. Nah.
It feels aggressively Italian, yes.
Does he like, when somebody passes him, like, just nothing but hand gestures?
I'm imagining him driving a pasta themed car sponsored by Prego.
Tell me his nickname is Tony Noodles, please.
Or
Tony Nudes. I'd take either.
Tony Nudes. Tony Nudes.
Okay, folks, that's what we got for today. We brought you punt news. We brought you basketball. We brought you soccer. We brought you AI.
Anthony Alfredo is sponsored by Dude Wipes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
And we brought you Dude Wipes. We'll see you guys on the other side.
I just want to fly.
Tony Nudes, Tony Nudes, Tony Nudes.